Welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because, honestly, we're diving into one of the most fascinating figures in modern sports, Stephen Curry. As a global icon, the guy has fundamentally changed how basketball is played all across the world. But today, we're not just going to sit here and watch his highlight reel. Instead, we are deconstructing the master of unseen discipline. We're actually going to skip our usual agenda today and dive straight into the mystery of how a player who completely lacked traditional physical dominance engineered himself into an absolute powerhouse. Let's get right into it.
So, when you watch Curry on the court, what stands out to you? For most of us, it's that he looks completely relaxed. His shots just seem to flow like water. Half the time, it looks like he's just out there playing a casual pickup game with his buddies, right? He's smiling, he's hitting these impossible shots with what looks like absolute ease. But it's the perfect illusion. Because it looks so natural, we all just instinctively assume it's raw, God-given talent. But is it? Well, the source material we're unpacking today strongly argues otherwise. Behind that super relaxed exterior are years of rigorous, meticulously planned routines and a level of intense discipline that most players entirely overlook.
Okay, let's dive into this comparison. Back when Curry was first entering the NBA, those early scouting reports were, well, let's just say they were far from glowing. He didn't have those ideal physical predispositions, he was skinny, he lacked the massive explosiveness of other rising stars at the time. In fact, a lot of scouts openly doubted if his body could even physically survive the brutal grinding rhythm of an NBA season. Yet, if we look at the modern reality today, he's an unbreakable global icon with the fastest release in the sport. So how on earth did he bridge that gap? Section 1, the myth of raw talent. Because he wasn't naturally massive, he had to engineer a completely different, highly analytical approach to the game just to survive. Section 2, biomechanics of the perfect shot. Now, when most fans watch Steph pull up for a three-pointer, almost everyone focuses on his hands, his arms, and the flick of the wrist, right? But if you really want to understand his true genius, you actually have to shift your focus away from his hands and look straight down at his foundation. What's really interesting about this definition of the perfect shooter is that it's not just about hand-eye coordination. It is an absolute mastery of footwork, the incredible speed of his positioning, and dynamic body balance. His body is literally trained to automatically find the ideal shooting position. He's constantly working on these rapid directional changes and short, explosive movements. He doesn't just shoot with his arms, folks. He shoots with his feet. And all that elite footwork results in this staggering number, 1 single second. Thanks to his insane lower body coordination, Curry can shake off a highly trained elite NBA defender, establish perfect balance, and release the basketball in under 1 second. It's just a terrifying advantage for the offense, and it's all built right there on the mechanics of his feet. But getting to that sub 1 second release, that requires a pre-practice routine that most people would find utterly exhausting. Curry arrives at the arena long before the official practice even begins. He's usually the very first one in the building. His routine kicks off with physical activation, followed by physiotherapy to protect his body from the crazy wear and tear of travel. And then he moves on to complex individual ball handling. We are talking about hours of grueling, frankly kind of boring drills. Dribbling through cones, mastering one-handed control, changing his rhythm, and shooting from a full dead sprint. He'll shoot hundreds, sometimes even thousands of times a single day. But it is never just random shooting. The entire philosophy here is to, quote, make the game feel easier than practice. And he achieves this by intentionally simulating extreme game fatigue. So he'll run a full-court sprint just to mimic the sheer exhaustion of the final minutes of a fourth quarter. And then he'll immediately catch and shoot from an incredibly difficult angle or distance. He intentionally throws himself off balance in practice, so his body learns exactly how to find its equilibrium in the total chaos of a real game. Section 3, building an unbreakable body. Stepping off the court and into the weight room, the difference between standard NBA size and Curry's approach is super stark. Curry knew from day one he couldn't just bulk up to become a massive bruising player. His physical conditioning had to prioritize functionality and resilience over just looking huge for the cameras. So instead of focusing on massive biceps or a huge chest, his regimen is intensely advanced and entirely focused on core stability, trunk balance, and functional strength. He relies heavily on exercises like deadlifts, squats, and medicine ball work. The ultimate goal is a highly tuned, functional body that can absorb intense contact and maintain extreme balance, rather than just carrying around extra dead weight. And this brilliantly illustrates why that functional strength became his absolute lifeline. Early on in his career, Curry faced a massive ankle crisis.
I mean, he suffered so many severe ankle sprains that a lot of experts believed his career was functionally over. They thought there was no way he'd ever become a superstar. But instead of just giving up, he entirely pivoted his training. He started working intensely on leg stability, foot strength, and movement control to protect those fragile joints. By completely re-engineering the strength of his foundation, he literally saved his own career.
Section 4. Fuel, recovery, and sleep. Let's step out of the gym for a moment, slow the pace down a bit, and look at the restorative side of his routine. Because honestly, you cannot train at this extreme level without perfectly calibrated fuel and recovery. The Curry regimen is actually surprisingly grounded. He's not really known for extreme or flashy diets. Instead, it's all about a highly consistent, balanced mix of proteins, carbohydrates, and healthy fats. Breakfast might be eggs, fruit, or oats for that morning energy. Pre-game meals, they're intentionally kept light to avoid stomach strain. So we're talking chicken, rice, pasta, and vegetables. Post-game, it's an immediate shift straight to muscle recovery with protein shakes. And underlying all of this, the whole shebang, is strict hydration to replace the massive amounts of fluids and electrolytes he loses during a typical NBA matchup. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. With the constant flights, the brutal time zone changes, the exhausting back-to-back games, what do you think is the absolute most critical part of surviving an NBA season? Is it the food, the weight room?
It's sleep. The source text highlights that against the punishing, brutal schedule of the league, sleep is Curry's true survival tool. Maintaining a strict sleep schedule across constantly changing time zones is paramount. And he pairs this foundational rest with modern recovery methods, things like ice baths, deep massages, and compression therapy. He treats his recovery with the exact same ruthless discipline as his three-point shot.
Section 5. Mastering the mental game. All those physical tools, the perfectly balanced diets, the elite biomechanics, they're completely useless if your mind breaks under pressure. Curry's physical attributes are powered by an unshakable, highly analytical psychology. His mental weapons are incredibly sharp. First off, he possesses this profound psychological calmness. His teammates note that even if he misses multiple shots in a row, he remains completely fearless and just continues to shoot with total confidence. Secondly, he's deeply analytical. He spends countless hours analyzing video, studying defensive habits, finding his own mistakes, and mapping out exactly where he can find space on the floor. And finally, there's his famous pregame ritual of shooting from the midcourt logo. This isn't just to hype up the fans, it serves a very specific mental purpose. By mastering shots from unbelievable distances during warm-ups, the standard three-point line feels remarkably close and easy once the game actually starts.
So the crucial point is this: what we see on TV is really only half the story. The source calls it the hidden marathon. People notice the beautiful, fluid shots, but they rarely notice the exhausting stamina required to simply exist on the court as Stephen Curry. I mean, he is constantly running, constantly changing direction, and constantly fighting through heavy screens off the ball just to get an inch of space. He operates at a high-intensity sprint that mimics his relentless off-season conditioning, essentially forcing the entire opposing defense to run a marathon right alongside him.
Section 6. The True Curry Legacy.
As we wrap up this explainer, we really have to look at the massive footprint he leaves behind. He didn't just win championships, he fundamentally altered global basketball, ushering in this whole new era of the three-point transition game and high-speed, space-oriented offense. But I want to leave you with this really powerful quote drawn directly from our source material. Many young players try to copy his long-distance shots, but the much more important part of his game is in the daily routine the public rarely sees. And that perfectly cements our core theme today. His revolutionary success isn't magic. It is built entirely on thousands upon thousands of unseen, disciplined, meticulously analyzed repetitions. He basically took the science of training and combined it with an unparalleled work ethic.
Which brings us to our final thought. Let's be honest, we all want the effortless results, right? We all want to look like we're casually sinking half-court shots in whatever our chosen profession happens to be. But the reality of greatness is quiet, it's repetitive, and yeah, it's often incredibly boring. So the question to you, the focused learner, is this. Are you willing to apply that meticulous analytical discipline to your own goals? Are you willing to put in the unseen hours? Think about that as you go about your week. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. And as always, keep learning.